Everyone says, just take the leap. But that advice can wreck your business before it even begins. Quitting your job doesn't mean you've launched a business, and if you don't build the right foundation, well, all that freedom you're chasing, it disappears fast. In this video, I'll show you why quitting isn't the same as launching, the simple math I wish I'd done before I ever quit, and the launch strategy that actually works without being salesy or spammy. My name is James Kurtz, and after leaving a cushy corporate role, I've built a brand that's brought in over $10 million in revenue, and now I help others escape the 9-to-5 and do the same. If you're thinking about starting a business, don't do it blind. I've put together a free checklist and a guide that I use to plan my exit. You can grab it below for free. All right, let's kick things off with the biggest myth that's ruined more business launches than a bad logo, what I call the Field of Dreams trap. If you build it, they won't come. You remember the movie, right? No? Am I aging myself? Either way, Kevin Costner hears a mysterious voice whisper, "If you build it, he will come." So he actually builds a baseball field in the middle of his cornfield, and spoiler alert, legendary ball players walk out of the stalks, including his dead father. They get to have a catch, tears, applause. Cue the Oscar acceptance speech. It's one of the most iconic movie moments ever, and it feels powerful because deep down we know that's not how real life works. In real life, you can build something amazing, but if no one knows about it, no one's coming. Too many would-be entrepreneurs fall into this trap. They build in silence, polish every detail, spend months or years getting things built and perfect before ever talking to a real person. And trust me, wanting to do this is in my nature too, but you have to fight it, because it feels productive. But really, it's procrastination dressed up as planning. So how do you avoid falling into this trap? Let me show you exactly what to do instead. Step 1, find the balance between planning and action. There's a quote often attributed to Abraham Lincoln. "If I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." Well, that sounds wise, but here's the key. He still chopped down the tree. Too many aspiring entrepreneurs spend the entire 6 hours sharpening the axe and then don't have any time left to take a swing. Yes, sharpen. Yes, prepare. But don't confuse endless planning with progress. At some point, you have to chop down the tree. In order to do that, you just have to forget perfection. Step 2, don't wait for perfect. Just start helping people. Yes, eventually you'll need a strong brand, a great website, and clear positioning. That stuff matters a lot, but it doesn't have to come before you put in your notice. To get started, you just need to help a real person solve a real problem. Skip call booking funnels, skip automations, skip anything else that isn't lining up your first few customers. If your offer is a little rough or your service isn't totally defined, that's okay. What matters most right now is momentum. And to get that momentum, you have to start talking to people that you can help. Step 3, build it as you go. You're always building, it never stops. And that's a good thing. So we have a joke around our office that we are on the 27th second version of our business because it's always evolving. It will never stop. And if it stops, that means we're out of business. It will never be perfect, and that's okay. In fact, it's kind of the point. Once you've helped your first few customers, reflect on it. How did you help them? In what ways did you unexpectedly help them? What did they have to say about it? Where were they before working with you? And where did they get to after working with you? There are plenty of questions you should be asking yourself about your business on a regular basis. Use the answers to these questions to continuously refine your business, the services you offer, and how you position yourself in the marketplace. Iteration, not perfection, will help you launch faster. But there's one thing that really gave me the confidence to quit, and as much as I hate them, it was a spreadsheet. So next, I'll walk you through the math you'll want to have in place before you quit your job. Living the dream, an equation. So here's the part that keeps most people up at night. How am I going to replace my salary? Back when I was first starting my business, I was 27, single, and fresh out of a corporate job. I didn't have a fancy financial model. I just wanted to know, can I actually afford to do this? So I opened up a simple spreadsheet and listed my baseline monthly expenses. Nothing wild. Rent, groceries, car, phone, insurance. It wasn't overly detailed, but it was real. Then I gave it a name. I called it Living the Dream. Why? Well, because for me, living the dream didn't mean making millions. It meant not having a boss. It meant being able to wake up on a Monday morning and choose what I worked on, who I worked with, and how I spent my time. That number became my benchmark. If I hit it, I was living the dream. If I went below it, I had to adjust. And here's the thing. When you know that number, everything changes. Suddenly your goal isn't vague like replace your salary. It's specific, concrete, and measurable. I track mine monthly, and I still do all these years later. Although the complexity has increased, the basic idea is the same. And I'm not exaggerating when I say, this one spreadsheet has given me more peace of mind than any client win, any launch, or any big payday ever did. And yeah, I realize how lame that sounds, but it's true. So, how do you create your own living the dream number? Let me show you the exact steps to get started. Step 1, start with your real expenses. If you already use a personal budget, start there. If not, no judgment, you're not alone. Just jot down the essential bills you need to cover each month. Things like housing, groceries, insurance, car payments, debt, phone, internet, you got it. You'll also want to factor in business expenses. Typically, a traditional business budget isn't going to think about personal expenses, but you'll want to for sure. You want that confidence booster that you can replace your salary, and this will do it. And you'll want to work in basic business expenses too. Eventually, this all gets separated, but for this sheet, it's everything you need to pay for to make this work. When it comes to business expenses, you might not have a history to look at, so you're going to be somewhat guessing. That said, most professional service providers can launch for under $20,000 total, and you can put that on a credit card if you have to, and then about maybe $1,000 per month with lean tools and software to start. Step 2, add a modest buffer. Once you've totaled your minimum living and business expenses, add a small buffer, maybe 10 to 15% to cover surprises. Don't pad it with lifestyle luxuries. It's not time to build in your daily massage budget just yet. But this is your bare minimum to live and run your business, not your dream salary. And personally, I took a 50% cut when I launched. Let me tell you, PB&Js do hit different when it's part of the business plan. Within 3 years, I was making 300% more. Step 3, build your tiers. Once you've got that living the dream number, add 2 more tiers above it. Tier 2, salary replacement, to match your old paycheck. And Tier 3, salary crusher, to exceed it. Fund your bigger vision. And here, you can add those lifestyle luxuries if you desire. These will give you concrete benchmarks to work toward as your business grows. They can be vague budgets. It just gets you thinking bigger than the bare minimum. Step 4, reverse engineer your pricing. Now, we're going to make it real. Take your living the dream number and break it down by how many hours you can actually work in a month. Not just available hours, but billable hours. Whether you charge hourly per project or with a different model, which we'll cover that in a different video, you need to understand the math behind your rates. Because your time is limited, your energy is limited, and if your pricing doesn't line up with your goals, well, you're going to burn out or worse, fail. And this is where confidence comes from, knowing exactly how much you need to make and how you will make it. Want to see what it'll take to live your dream? Grab the free business backbone linked below. It even includes the spreadsheet. This simple spreadsheet gave me clarity, but what really got me paid? Well, that came next. Let me show you how I started landing clients before I even quit my job. Get your first customer. Just imagine the confidence you'd feel walking into your boss's office with clients already lined up. No anxiety, no second guessing, just proof that your next chapter is already underway. Back when I was getting ready to put in my notice, I made a list of everyone I'd worked with professionally over the years. Then I started reaching out. Nothing fancy. I sent each person a short message asking if they had 10 to 15 minutes to catch up. Most said yes. Before I knew it, I had lined up enough work to quit. One of those conversations even led to a single client that generated over $5 million in revenue alone. And no big pitch, no funnel, just relationships, initiative, and a willingness to ask. Now, let me walk you through exactly how you can do this too, even if you don't have a big network. Step 1, make a list of every professional contact you know. Current and former coworkers, bosses, vendors, and clients, basically anyone and everyone you've come across professionally. Don't overthink it. You're not pitching yet. You're identifying connections. If you're a seasoned professional, chances are you already have a solid network, whether you realize it or not. You can also use people in your personal network, but professional contacts are going to work best. Step 2. Reach out one by one with a simple note. Contact everyone on your list, one by one. Start with an email that asks for a call. This is called warm outreach. The recipients of your messages or your audience already know, like, and trust you. They're warmed up. And this can help take the pressure off. Yeah, your palms might sweat anyway, but you're not pitching, you're reconnecting. Keep the message short and personal. Something like, "Oh, hey John, I'm working on something and would love to catch up for 10 to 15 minutes. No pressure at all. Just want to run something by you and get your thoughts." The goal is just to open the door to a real conversation. You're not asking them to buy anything. You're asking for a little bit of time, and most people are happy to give that if they've worked with you before. If you send 10 to 20 messages like that, you'll be shocked at how many people say yes. Step 3, use the call to ask, not sell. They've said yes to the call. Hooray! So once you're on the call, keep things cordial and go through the small talk, which is more important than you'd think. Do this for a few minutes and then share that you're planning to launch your own thing. Give them context, but keep it simple. And then ask, is there anything you need help with right now? And do you know anyone who might need help? That second question is key because even if your own network is small, theirs might be big. And you're not looking for a yes, you're looking for a bridge. And that's it. You're not there to sell, you're there to plant seeds. Do more listening than talking. If you're a fit, they'll say so. If not, you're just still building trust, visibility, and momentum. Step 4, track and follow up. Keep a simple spreadsheet, notes doc, or use your favorite task management software. If they say maybe later, check in a month. If they refer you to someone, follow up right away. If they say yes, well, you've got your first win. Track it all. You don't need to sell. You don't need to cold call. You just need to work your network. And this isn't a theory. It's how I got started before I launched. It worked for me, it works for others, and it will work for you. In fact, this approach alone landed me my previous employer as a client on day 1 of launch. Bonus step, give more than 2 weeks. So you don't have to do this, but I did, and I know plenty of others who've launched successfully this way too. Despite what you might have heard, 2 weeks isn't a requirement. The 2 weeks thing, it's more tradition than law. It's like fruitcake at Christmas or casual Fridays that aren't actually casual. If you've built trust and delivered real value, then your employer likely doesn't want to lose you, and they'll appreciate a thoughtful transition. When I gave notice, I told them I was willing to stay until they found my replacement. That ended up being 2 months, but it was a win-win. I had steady income and extra time to moonlight with early clients, and they had continuity during the handoff. That professional gesture also gave my employer so much confidence that they ended up hiring me as an outside vendor after I left. Leaving well can actually open doors, not close them. Do this, and clients are starting to say yes. Now, it's time to stop treating this like a side hustle and start treating it like a real business. Next, you're going to need to set things up to get paid, protect yourself, and move forward with confidence. But how do you do that? Make it real. You wouldn't build a house by starting with the roof. First, you pour the foundation. It's not the most glamorous part. It doesn't wow people on Instagram, but without it, the whole structure's at risk. And launching a business is no different. You've started lining up clients, you've validated the idea, now it's time to stop treating this like a side hustle and start treating it like a real business. And that means laying the foundation, getting the legal, financial, and operational basics in place so that everything else you build has something solid to stand on. Sounds simple enough, but most people get it wrong. Let me show you how to do it in 4 easy steps. Step 1, establish a legal structure. For most service-based businesses in the United States, that means forming an LLC. It's simple, affordable, and gives you personal liability protection, which means if anything goes wrong in the business, they can't come for your personal assets. Basically legal speak for if something goes sideways, you get to keep your couch. It also makes you look more legitimate to clients. You can file online in most US states through their website. Or you can use a service like LegalZoom if you just want someone to do it for you. The big mistake here that most new business owners make is thinking their LLC name is their brand name. It is not the same thing. Don't get hung up on the LLC name. Make it something that is evergreen and can house multiple brand names later if needed. For example, my LLC name is Gene Harris Limited. It's my wife's middle name, my middle name. Clients really only see it on contracts. I have a DBA, or in my state it's called a trade name, for the brands that I do business as publicly. This will keep you from getting held up now and gives you more options later. Step 2, apply for an EIN. In the United States, you're going to need to get an EIN, or Employer Identification Number. An EIN is like a social security number for your business. It's totally free, you get it from the IRS, and it only takes a few minutes to apply. Some people skip it because they're not an employer, but even if you're not hiring anyone yet, having an EIN makes it easier to open a bank account, file taxes, and to look professional. Oh, and this is specific to the US. Not actually sure what it is in other countries, but something similar exists certainly. Step 3, open a business bank account. This is non-negotiable. Mixing personal and business money is a recipe for stress, confusion, and tax trouble. The holy trinity of, why did I do this to myself? A business checking account with low fees that is totally separate from your personal money will make your life so much easier. You can go to your local branch where you have a personal bank account, or you can find an online bank option. I prefer a local branch with a great branch manager. Get to know them. A personal connection will go a long way in the long run. It's not needed, but I love it. A shout out to Laura and the team at PNC and Hudson. You're the best. Step 4, set up systems to accept and track money. You're going to want to be able to create estimates, send invoices, track who owes you, mark invoices paid, categorize transactions. You also need to make sure you're in good shape for tax time. Trust me, you do not want to figure all of this out in April every year. There are more options and methods available for this to even cover it in this video, but the most popular software is QuickBooks, and you're probably going to need this. I use the online version. It can pretty much do everything you'll need, but chances are you'll tack on other options that are more robust in certain areas, depending on your specific needs. My accounting tech stack is QuickBooks for bookkeeping and tax preparation, Harvest for estimating, time tracking, and invoicing, Stripe for credit card payment processing. They are all tied together for efficiency, and most online solutions are going to have integrations you can take advantage of as well. Get these steps in place now before you quit, so that when you do, you're stepping into something solid, not just jumping into the void and hoping a parachute magically appears. Plus, if you want more help, I got you covered. Download the Business Backbone. It's a simple, comprehensive checklist with everything we just covered and much, much more. You'll find the link down below. And if we're not already connected on LinkedIn, I'd love to change that. You can find that link below too. Whether you've just launched or are thinking about it, I'd love to hear what you're building, because this journey is better when we don't do it alone. And hey, if you've made it this far, thank you. This is actually my very first video on the channel, so seriously, I appreciate you sticking around. You are my people. More to come, especially if you're someone who's ready to stop building someone else's dream and finally build your own.